Welcome to the penitent, guys. Here you will hear stories of drug sprees and/or criminal episodes that we experienced on the streets and landed us in incarceration or the hospital. Today we live positive and encouraging lives. Welcome to the penitent, hosted by Lewis, where we bring to you an educational and inspirational message. We have Mondo here, special guest, first guest. I'm excited, man. I really am. He's got a good story, guys. He really does. So what part of town were you raised, Mondo?
I was born and raised on the west side of town.
West side. That's Port and Agnes, right? I want to say, I remember.
It was by Port and Agnes.
Port and Agnes, yeah. That's called the 40, ain't it? 40, yeah, 40.
Back in those days, yeah, the 40.
Yeah, 40. What elementary or elementaries did you go to as a kid?
I went to a few elementaries. I went to Gibson Elementary and George Evans Elementary.
George Evans?
Yeah,
I never heard of that one. Where's that one at?
It's over there.
Over there, towards downtown.
Downtown?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned you ran through Gibson, right?
Yeah, I went to Gibson for a little bit too.
Gibson, yeah, I went through Gibson too. So me and him, we kind of have like similar paths in a way, you know. We kind of, you know what I mean? Like
Similar schools, similar background.
Yeah, yeah. And what high school did you go to? Did you go to high school?
I made it to Miller, but other than that, I went to the big league.
Yeah, man. Did you finish Miller?
No, I got a certified.
Certified as an adult?
Certified as an adult.
Yeah, that's a legal concept, guys, that when you're young, and how old were you when you got certified?
15.
15. You got certified at 15. That's something, man.
For those that don't know what certified means, what does that mean to the viewers?
That means that you get certified as an adult. You get transferred from the juvenile system to the adult system. But at that time, they transferred me in a court hearing all the way to the adult system, and I faced trial as an adult.
Okay, so you were in the juvenile at the time?
Yes, when they got charged, I got charged as a juvenile.
As a juvenile, so you went to juvenile first, right?
And then I went to a hearing, and that hearing depends and
goes.
determines if you're able to stand trial as an adult.
Okay. See, I learned something there. I was always under the impression where when they say it's certified that you go straight to county, but it's a process, right? It's a legal process. They got to certify that, yeah. They got to put that on the record. And, okay, we already answered what age you got. At 15 you got arrested?
Yes.
I probably should have put these in order, but I'm gonna go ahead and go. What is one of the things you miss the most in the outside besides family?
Well, being incarcerated, I missed a lot of things, but also I lost out on a lot of things and opportunities.
Yeah.
I actually didn't understand a lot of things because I went in as a kid.
Yeah.
And being a juvenile, the only things that you know are basically limited.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have the opportunity to miss many things other than my family and friends.
Yeah, that's an intelligent answer, man. Yeah, because you're right. As we're kids, we don't really know that. I talked about that on another video. It's not about me, but I can understand what you're saying. Exactly. So here goes a shocking question. Here's, you know, people like to hear prison stories. So what is the most shocking story you have seen or even heard in the Texas prison?
Well,
Because you went back down in the days, in the 90s.
I got locked up and incarcerated in TDC. Because it wasn't called TDCJ back then, it was called TDC.
Right.
92. So,
92.
in 1992, actually I remember it was in February. I wouldn't say too many things were shocking because the way I was raised and the environment I was raised around, the neighborhoods, you done never seen everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've seen everything there is to see. So prison is just putting all these bad neighborhoods and putting them together.
Right.
And then you got the upper class and middle class people that can make crimes or put it in there. So you got every crime you could think of that's committed in the free world is committed in there. But
Right.
I've seen people get killed. I've seen people get raped. Guards get raped. I've seen people get jacked. I mean, there's so many things that you could talk about, but actually it's not things you really want to, you know.
Right.
What I'm saying? There's things that Because you remember some of the stuff in the eyes, the way people look, when certain things were happening, the fear. You could sense certain things in riots. And even in yourself, you'd be like, am I going to make it? So you're just going, and you don't actually got time to stop and think. Like, hey, it's not like in the movies, everything goes real slow motion, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, you see so much stuff that sometimes there's not one that tops the other.
Yeah.
It becomes a norm, like everything's at the same level.
Right.
Because if there's death in there, which is considered the highest form of crime, what else can top that?
Right. Or brutality or torture, but still, I mean, regardless of
It happens. I mean, I see people set on fire.
Damn.
I see, you know, people burn.
Stuff you only see in the movies.
I mean, you see a lot of things, you know. But actually, as far as trying to say this is the thing that really traumatized me, after doing 25 years incarcerated, and you've been through the system in different units, different things, you actually see more than the average person. And when you go through the time transition from the early 90s to the 2000s, you see the old school way of things, because you're actually with some of the older schools that were there in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
Whereas the dudes in the late 90s and 2000s, they were never there. They don't got no comprehension with seeing somebody getting thrown over the run, somebody getting stabbed multiple times, people getting, you know, their face stomped in, or people getting hella flight, stabbed, burned, you know.
Yeah.
Or there's so much.
Yeah, so much in 25 years.
There's actually, I can't really specify, but I do remember times where, you know, we're in some situations where you don't know if you're gonna make it home.
Yeah.
You know, and to me that's more terrifying. Not as far as being scared, like, oh no, but it's like,
no, I mean, you would
this
have
might
to,
be your last breath. You know what I mean? And you don't want to die in prison.
But
that's one of my fears.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I would just real quick, I would say you wouldn't be human if you wouldn't have them feelings, though. You know what I mean? So you have that natural, like, man, you know, we're just human, you know.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I was gonna ask you something else. Oh, let me ask you real quick. Do you like have flashbacks or ADHD or anything like that? Like,
At
I kind of do sometimes. It's fading off, but
I mean, actually, at sometimes, because it's a part of your life. It's just like military or anything else.
like military.
It's embedded in you. And there's times, like, I remember one time I was on a monitor, on the GPS monitor, which is the leg monitor, and the machine monitor. It's like a phone that you put on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
And yeah, well, you gotta record your whole weekly schedule. You gotta time in and time out, going out, and you gotta be at the precise locations you're gonna be at, and all that. So I remember one time, because when I got out, I didn't have nothing. I had limited help, no transportation. I had to walk to work and do anything I had to do just to transition, to try to get used.
Man, I imagine.
And I got on the bus, and right when I got on the bus, my natural reaction was like I was shackled. I put my hands down on my knees, like I was shackled, and I leaned forward, like I was shackled down, like, because I'm on a bus, like being on a Bluebird.
Yeah.
And this lady just looks across from me. She tells me in Spanish, like, I'm sorry. And I looked at her, I said, what are you sorry for? She goes, you just must have got out, and you must have did a good long bit. And I was like, what makes you think that? She goes, because my son does that when he's in the bus. And then I stopped and I thought about it. And there's times like you zone out when you hear a noise.
Yeah.
Or or something in TV, or the keys ringing, and even at night when you're asleep, you hear a click of the neighbor's door, and my wife even trips out on me like, how can you hear that? You know, but it's embedded in you. You know? It becomes a part of you that you learn your whole surroundings. Every sound that's made, you learn it. You learn what it is. So you know if it's close by, if it's far away, what's this? If it's this road, it's that road, it's a day room, if it's down the hall, you know. If you hear the footsteps coming later, you know there's something going on, you know. It's just you get to learn, it's just a Bible skill, it kicks in, so yeah, you get PTSD, you know.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's like you said, like the military, like them guys from Vietnam. I know a man also, you know, I hear stories from him, like he'd be at the HEB and he'll see like an Asian guy and he'll go into flashbacks, you know what I mean? Like it will go crazy like he's in the Vietnam, you know what I mean? But I can understand what Mondo's saying here, you know. You know, there'll be times where I've been at the store or someplace or at the gym. I see a lot of dudes huddled up and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they're talking and they're like walking towards you, and you think like, you
Yeah,
get that little flashback.
Your action, your natural reaction is like you're scooting towards the wall. And like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know, let's
Man,
do
that's
this.
something, man. I mean, it's fading off, but you know, I'm barely assimilating. I mean, I've been out 13 years, but how long you been out, by the way?
Since 2015 of December, going on 6 years.
6 years. Nice, man. All right, here's what is the instant crime you are or were on parole for?
I'm on parole for capital murder.
Capital murder. What does that mean? Legal definition.
It was a crime, a murder committed with the felony of a crime, and in my case, I had 2 murder cases. So it's one murder committed with another, enhanced it to a capital.
So that means there was 2 individuals involved.
Yes.
You care to expand about that, like what happened or no?
Actually, I don't, because that's my past, and
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
something that I prefer to talk about. I mean, your past lives with you. It's about bettering your future, about better understanding from your mistakes.
Exactly. Yep.
And you know, it's not something that you want to bring up to other people.
Yeah.
Because
yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's just actually something that you dealt with.
Yeah. You dealt with.
You don't want to glorify something that really brought harm to you or your family or
Exactly.
others.
Yeah. That's right, man. It's a chain reaction. You know, people don't realize. You know what I mean? Like, it's a chain reaction. It's a domino effect. You know, you hurt yourself. You hurt your family. The victim's family gets hurt. It's just a chain. You know, the system. It's just a chain reaction. You know, it's just a lot of consequences. You know, a lot of collateral damage and consequences, man. You know. Let me see. I think we already mentioned what is the most time you served straight in calendar years.
It's actually, technically, it's 24 years, 11 months or something, a few days.
Yeah.
25 years, I always round it up. I mean,
How much time did you do in TYC?
I think I did like maybe 9 months.
9 months.
And that was for a different felony.
Yeah, 9 months. So you pretty much did over 25 regardless, though, in and out, right?
Oh, yeah.
In and out. That's right. Let me see. I'm gonna deviate from these questions. I only have limited questions, but so what unit did you go to first time you went down?
Ferguson?
Ferguson. They call that the gladiator school, right? Of course. That's what you call the common knowledge.
Yeah.
They also call the Beetle unit gladiator, though. I've been hearing about that lately.
Well, those units back then, they earned their title back in the days. I mean, with a lot of the chaotic stuff going on in the lifestyle, prison life, I mean, it was really something you could only read about or see about on TV or think about. But now prison is it's got more reformed.
Yeah.
It's got more, I would say, not discipline, but I would say more,
Safety.
like more safety.
Better
More,
towards the safety.
yeah, like towards that. There's still prison. Prison's gonna be prison, but when I first went to prison, you would have 10, 15, 20 murders in a year, whereas you only have one in every 2 or 3 units in a year. So it's actually became more safe for the ones coming in and the officers, but still there's still a lot of prison's gonna be prison. So
Yeah, that's right. I think nowadays they have something. What is it called? Prison Reform Act or something? Something
PREA?
about rape.
Oh, the prison rape elimination. something
PREA.
like
It's
that.
called
yeah, something
PREA.
like that. But
Yeah.
actually, that only brings to forth paperwork for the government.
Yeah.
It's just, but there's things that go on in prison that no matter what, it's still going to be prison. It's just how you live your life in there. You respect others, and if it comes down to you do what you got to do. But
Yeah.
violence ain't always the key. I learned that throughout the years, and I was a very violent person. So, but coming from somebody with my history, the credibility, the people that know me, I tend now not to just walk away, but diffuse things to try to get a
Yep.
better understanding of where your future could lead. Because one wrong decision,
Man. Exactly.
you go right back.
Exactly, man. And they don't realize that, you know, like there was a concept in prison, how you say a criminal is different from a convict, because the criminals out here in the streets doing their thing, they don't foresee You've been through that. You already know the ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's knowledge and wisdom. You know what I mean? Like you already know what's gonna happen. You just know every single detail about the prison life when you make that one decision. You know what I mean? There's a saying too. It says, "Don't let a split-second decision make it have a lifetime of consequences."
Yeah.
And that's so true, man. Because anything can happen so quick. You know, so quick that it's over with. You know what I mean? It's over with.
Yeah.
So what units did you go to after the Ferguson unit?
I've been on numerous units, but the most ones that I would say were what they call rock and roll. You know, the Ferguson, Robertson, Colony. You know, those are the most units where I've seen a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
everything you could think of happened in those units.
Yeah.
But those were also units that made you. You know what I'm saying? Made you either a convict, a criminal, or whatever. You know, in prison they got different sayings for different things, but it either made you. You either learned or you didn't learn.
Yeah.
You either grew up or you didn't grow up. Either you're gonna be a statistic or a stat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it always depends on what you were gonna do and what you were leading for. You know?
Yeah.
That's one thing. I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be back in there and the guard I see that I knew in 2-3 years. I knew you were coming back.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a statistic. I want to be a positive stat. Like, hey, this dude's out here.
Exactly.
But you don't hear about the stats. You don't hear about people being out here too much and being successful. Why? Because there's nobody that's reaching out to everybody to try to show others so that the ones that are down that path could say, hey, you know what? These dudes can make it, and they come from different backgrounds, different ethical backgrounds, and different experiences. You know, I could make it.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. What else? Hey, were you there when they shot that Robertson unit? I was not there at that time. I think I was down the road when that guard shot that guy in the field. Did you hear about that one? You heard about that one?
I was there.
Yeah. Was it a Mexican guy, right? I think. Yeah. You know the details about it? Well, not the details. But...
Actually, I don't, and I wasn't actually there seeing the thing, but I'll put it like this: there's really no too much love between the convicts, criminals, or fellas, the inmates, whatever you want to call them, and the guards. I mean, there was always tension, and you had some good guards, you had some bad guards, you had some good felons, and you had some bad ones. It all depends. Excuse my language, but the stuff you see on the movies, it happens, but it's limited. You know what I'm saying? You might have one big dude, one, 2, 3 shot callers or whatever, but you know what? They're replaceable. There's like an ant pile.